Yo, what is good, guys? At this point, you should have already seen, what's that video called? What's the song called? Sorry, my brain. What did I miss? Woo! That was one of them ones. Not just Drake, but me too. I felt really good recording that. But today is still July 5th. Just got back from Isaiah's birthday party. It was a cowboy thing party. Let me know what y'all think. Like, you feel me? I couldn't buy I didn't have time to get no real cowboy outfit, but you know what I'm saying? A little hat with the little, you feel me? Okay, so basically, today was a great day. I think it was a representation of how real God is, Went down there kind of in my head about just wanting to enjoy this weekend, you know what I mean? Nothing particularly was wrong at all, and I felt good, but also, like, I know it's a lot going on this weekend, a lot going on this weekend. So I was like, okay, hopefully it all goes well. Hopefully we start this weekend off good with Isaiah's birthday party, right? So I go down there, and I met Uncle Chip. Now, I probably met him before. I would highly doubt if I didn't, but that's my sister's uncle. Me and my sister don't have the same mom, so I'm not all the way tapped in with everybody in her life, and really good people. That's my spades partner. We won 2 games today. Mind you, I don't even remember meeting him before today. So the whole time, if me and Uncle Chip was really locked in we would have been running that table, bro. We won 2 games off of just being I'm him, he him, we them. We them boys. You feel me? Like, anywho, Uncle Chip brought with him Jordan, right? Jordan Davis, if I'm not mistaken. One sec. My bad, y'all. Jordan Thomas. Jordan is a rising senior at the University of Tennessee, right? DB, defensive back on the football team, all that good stuff. I was like, okay, that's real cool. Now, Jordan is another one that I would say is more locked in with God than I am, Somebody my age is like, I need to get to where he at, you feel me? Not that I'm not trying, but you know what I'm saying? You can feel it on somebody. You can feel the energy, the godly spirit, the glow, the aura, right? Talking to Jordan, found out last fall, because it's been 10 months, and he said today. He tore his ACL, PCL, LCL, tore his hamstring, and not only all those different tears, which I could relate to, I tore my ACL as well with some other damage. He has nerve damage. He did damage to the nerves in his leg, meaning that there is some I forget what it's, I think drop foot. I hope it's drop foot. I hope that I really obtained everything he said to me today. Drop foot, where essentially he can't lift his foot up. Like, you know how your foot is flat? You can't really do that because of the nerve damage that was done in his leg. Meaning, how are you supposed to be a defensive back? You can't even. And it's like, I know what it's like to tear ACL, and that this is a hell of a journey in and of itself, but the nerve damage, you know what I mean? That's a hell of a, can't help but feel bad for the brother. Somebody at UT playing football, dreams of going to the league, can't even play football again. Now, one thing I appreciate about Jordan is his perspective on understanding. I feel like I'm just in a redirective season, It's God. It's not that God is taking football away from me. It's that he's directing me somewhere else where I'll be even better. I love the fact that Jordan has his perspective without having to go through everything I went through to get there, recognizing that it's bigger, you know what I mean? There's a bigger picture. Obviously, it would be amazing if his nerve damage got worked out and I tune in on Sundays to see him locking up the best receivers in the league. For sure, I would love to see that. But also I love just as much that he's at peace with understanding that football potentially being taken away from him does not mean it's the end of his story, you know? And now Jordan's not even family whole time. Jordan is like somebody Uncle Chip met and just brought him in. I never met Jordan before. I never heard, like, I knew Uncle Chip. I knew of him. Jordan, not even family, bro, swear. And it's just like, for us to cross paths today, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I shared with him a lot of the things. I ain't gonna say a lot. I shared with him some things that are in the book, some things that are going on right now, Kennedy and things of that nature. And I shared with him how Job really helped change my perspective. And again, this goes back to, he's more likely than I am. And it's like, I need that, you know, like he told me, I was sharing, obviously, I feel like up to this point, if you've read the book, you understand that I understand Job, right? He understands on the level is like, for me, I could tell you the story. I could tell you what Job went through. The devil needed God's permission to test him. You feel what I'm saying? The only reason that Job got tested is because the devil had to ask God for permission. And God said, Job standing 10 toes. He not folding. He never folding. He with me, bro. You feel me? I understand the story. Jordan, when I explained to him how I know what happened with Kennedy, I know everything that's going on in my life right now, but I watched Job go through what he went through. I use my study guide in the Bible to prepare myself for the test, which is real life. I'm good because I understand that the Bible is a big study guide for life. But the test is life. And so often we use the study guide. We read and we see and we accept, we comprehend things like Job, things like Moses, things like Abraham being willing to sacrifice his son. But then when it's our turn, God's not even asking us to sacrifice our sons. Do you know how good we have it now that we're here post Jesus? We don't have to do everything that they used to have to do. Sacrificing your son. We're not even asked to do that. Yet and still we feel like it's the end of the world when we go through hardships. I'm not saying don't feel sad. I'm not saying I'm not going to cry about Kennedy tomorrow, probably. But that don't mean stop. And it's like I was sharing that was my perspective with Jordan, right? And I was like, man, what? He was not only relating to the story of Job, he was spitting the verses at me. I remember particularly he was like Job 7:4. I'm like, I don't even know the verses, though. I know the story. I don't even know the verses, though. The stuff I'm telling y'all about how Job lost everything, and then the devil had to ask, and then Job's children were killed, and the house collapsed, and there was a storm that wiped away all his crops, and all his cattle died, and he had the boils all over his skin, and all of those different things. I know that. I don't know what verse is which. He's talking about, it said in Job 7:4. I was like, oh yeah, for sure. For me to be going through what I went through and run into Jordan today, of all days, today. What did I miss? What did I miss between last year and this year to get to where I got to? You feel me? And I know one thing that was huge. I'm about to pull up the lyrics for What Did I Miss because of the fact that... Hold on, guys. Let's go. Good typing. It would have been embarrassing if I could get my password wrong. Hold on, guys. Where is it at? This is embarrassing. Okay. I spoke on earlier how Drake said, I don't give a if you love me. I don't give a if you like me, which I agree with. But then I realized I relate to Drake so, I swear it's like Drake is just like, He said, asking me how did it feel? Can't say it didn't surprise me. Last time I looked to my right, you was standing beside me. Are y'all hearing him? I don't give a if you love me. I don't give a if you like me. I'm asking how did it feel? I can't say it didn't surprise me because when I looked to my right, you was standing beside me. Before I got hurt, before I lost my mind, before I was half crazy, before I was in my left mind, because I couldn't be in the right, before I was so far gone, all of those different things that I would use to describe myself last year, we'll say half crazy, so far gone, whatever. We'll say so far gone. I think that's my favorite reference. Before I was so far gone, the amount of people that I looked to my right and saw them standing right beside me, that on the other side, again, it's no beef on my end. I don't hold grudges. I swear I don't. It's not my responsibility to. And who am I to, like, certain people draw lines in friendships, right? You go through XYZ, oh, that's too much. I can't deal with that anymore. To each their own. But I know for me and mine, I'll never be able to say, somebody will never be able to say to me, last time I looked to my right, you were standing right beside me and now you're gone. Like, that's not how I roll. You feel me? But I get it. And it's like for Drake to drop that today, it hasn't even been 24 hours since that came out. I was like, wow. Because that's the thing, again, the song dropped last night. I didn't even process that he said that. Like, nah, he said another thing too. Hold on. When I was looking at y'all and cooking with y'all and giving out verses and bookings to y'all, making sure wires were hit, man, what did I miss? When you was all in my crib looking at hoes word for word at all of the shows, you always felt like this, man, what did I? It's like, obviously I don't live the rapper lifestyle yet. Cause I'm in the studio working on that book right now. I open my book and I jot. I just don't get, there's people who I physically, like, no exaggeration, I used to cook with them. We used to bake stuff and blah, 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 blah. I ain't talked to them in months. What did I miss? Did y'all always feel like this, man? What did I miss? Like, was there some type of, you feel me? I don't understand. When I was looking at y'all and cooking with y'all and giving out verses and bookings to y'all, making sure wires were hit, man, what did I miss? You know, people going through stuff. I'm there 100% of the time. It's not the same thing on the other side. What did I miss? Did y'all let me know something that I just missed it? I don't know. What I do know is that I met Jordan today. Somebody who not only had an ACL tear playing the sport that they love, somebody that have nerve damage on top of that doesn't even know if they'll ever be able to play football again. Yet and still, he understands. God didn't take football away from me at something in my life. He redirected me to something better. You know what that lets me know in totality? That Jordan understands that there's hope. At the end of the day's going to end, right? Whatever you experience today, good, bad, ugly, chalk it up. The day's over with. I wake up tomorrow, say today's a new day. Smile, man. You know, I think me meeting Jordan today, us crossing paths today, 100% not an accident. To see a young man my age go through what I went through on a little bit of a deeper level with the nerve damage, have such a great perspective on it and understanding that it's redirection. I don't know what God has for me next, but it's clearly going to be better than football because he took football away because he knows that there's something bigger. And the story of the something bigger is even better now because, yeah, I lost football to get here. For me, at this point, I don't know when I'm even going to drop this. I don't even know. But I know that losing basketball for me, tearing my ACL, going through that surgery, and then going through the breakup and going through the mental hospital and losing Big Mom and losing Kennedy. We'll just say those 5 for now in the last year or so. But similarly to Jordan, I now recognize it all is a redirection to something greater. Everything that is happening now in my life does not happen without what happened. You feel me? I can't write a book on my life experience and tell the same story if I didn't experience what I experienced. You know? And again, I just want to inspire others, man, because what I recognize is that I'm here right now thriving. Not because of me, not because of you, respectfully, because of him. And I want y'all to feel that too. But you can only do so much. I could lead a horse to water. I can't force him to drink it. And I'm telling y'all right here, right now, today, the reason that I feel the way that I do and that Jordan was able to have such a overwhelming sense of confidence and knowing that there is something bigger and better for him than football at the University of Tennessee is because we're in our book and we recognize that he doesn't fail. He never fails. He won't fail. You might get tested like Job did in Job 7:4. You might. But you know what happened to Job at the end? After losing his kids and his cattle and his land, he got everything back ×2. If he had 700 camels before God took everything away, when Job stayed faithful on the other side, he had 1,400 camels. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Life's going to hit you. It's going to hit you hard. We're human. And we're not perfect. We put ourselves in situations that, you feel me? But if you stay faithful to the man up above, I'm telling y'all, trying to tell y'all, if you still haven't read the book yet, what are you doing? Honestly. Just honestly. Again, I can push the book into all of you all's faces. I can lead you to the water. I cannot force you to drink it. I'm just curious as to what we're waiting for at this point. Because I think Jordan, the conversation with Jordan today, July 5th, 2024, the day of Isaiah's first birthday party and the day before Kennedy's funeral procession gets started, to have that conversation and be where I am right here, right now, today, and the hope that I recognize in my life, man, there's hope. There's hope for great things. You just got to keep going. Got to make it to the light at the end of the tunnel. Point blank, period. I truly just want to say, Jordan kind of asked me, when you're writing a book, you know how sometimes it's like dedicated to, like, to blah, blah, blah. Did I have anybody that it was dedicated to? And I thought about it. I didn't, obviously. There would be nothing to think about if I did. I don't want to dedicate this to anybody. I don't want to dedicate it to my mom. I don't want to dedicate it to Big Mama, to Kennedy, to whoever, to my dad. Do I want to dedicate it to somebody? And I told, hold on, before y'all get too far to hear yourselves, I'm not dedicating it to Jordan. He cool, but relax. I know that's what y'all did. Relax. I thought to myself, like, I told him, honestly, if I was dedicated to anybody, it would honestly be God. Like, to God. There's nobody else that, you know. And I just want to, before I wrap this up, just say that's not trying to be funny. That's authentic. Shout out to him. Because all the people that I would consider dedicating it to, he blessed me with. The interaction with Jordan today only happened because I am in a place where I recognize that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm walking towards it. I could have very easily told my sister and her family, hey, I have a funeral for my little cousin tomorrow, and I'm probably just gonna miss the party. For what? Not, again, I'm not saying I'm not gonna be sad, I'm not gonna grieve, but I'm okay. I'm okay. And I want people to feel that way too. And it's like, just open your Bible, man. Get in your word. There's hope. Shout out to the man up above. That's why I dedicate this all to. because I know how real his impact on me has been 51 days into reading my Bible in a year, and the amount of peace beyond human understanding that he has given me. And why should I have that too? So, just always remember that no matter what, there's hope. I don't want to overdo this from a standpoint of every day recording a video that I'm going to drop in 6 months. So I'm going to leave it here, no matter what. Y'all have my word. Anything else that happens between now and January 2026, we'll talk about it in January 2026. But for now, thank you, Jordan, for today's conversation. Thank you, God, for everything. And just to everybody, thank you for those that are here. And just remember that no matter what, there's hope. Go tap into the book.